Been a while since I've done one of these, I guess. So I saw Sonic the Hedgehog and it wasn't terrible. Sonic the Hedgehog is about, well, Sonic the Hedgehog, who ends up on Earth in a town called Green Hills and meets a cop named Tom, and they go on a road trip to get Sonic's rings back and stop Dr. Robotnik from using Sonic's fur to power his own machines. Also, this really isn't a fish out of water story because Sonic has already been on Earth for years. I am a Sonic fan, so naturally, I was interested in seeing this movie, and I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it more than Birds of Prey, to be honest. I'll start with what I liked. My favorite part of the movie was Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. I mean, it's basically just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. But if you like Jim Carrey, you'll probably enjoy him here. Also, this is just at the very end to set up a sequel, which is probably going to happen. I like the friendship between Sonic and Tom. At the end of the movie, they play a piano rendition of the Green Hill Zone theme, and that was pretty cool. I want to talk about Sonic's design in this movie. It's definitely better than that. Sonic's original design makes this look not creepy. I've heard people say that this movie would have been unwatchable if they kept Sonic's original design, but the design is literally the only thing they changed about the movie, so I don't know how much worse it would have been. Also, I'm glad this movie is a success, because if they went through reanimating Sonic all over again, only for people to not see it, would have been a dick move. Normally, I don't like when movies reference memes, but I love the part where Crazy Carl shows a drawing of Sonic, but it's the Sonic meme. There's a scene with Sonic that's basically a Quicksilver scene from the X-Men movies. I want to talk about the spoiler in the movie, so skip to this if you don't want to be spoiled. There's a mid-credit scene where Tails steps out of a portal and they set up a sequel. And knowing what this failed abortion looks like, it makes me wonder what Tails may have looked like if he had a previous design. Maybe he would have looked like this. Or this. Spoilers over. Now let's get into the negatives. Despite the trailer making the movie look like a cinematic masterpiece, there are some issues with this movie. One being that Sonic's backstory is started and finished, like, immediately. And it's basically the trope where the main character loses someone close to them at a young age and they have to fend for themselves. And this movie begins with the cliche where the frame freezes and the character's like,
"Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got myself into this situation."
I mean, he doesn't say exactly that, but you get the idea. This movie is also the typical beloved animated character visits the real world movie. I don't watch those kind of movies or really like them all that much, but this is probably the best one we'll ever get. There are some things that don't make sense, like how come Sonic can outrun several of Robotnik's missiles and bullets, but he can't outrun a tranquilizer dart? And Tom basically becomes a fugitive after helping Sonic, and when they get to a certain building in San Francisco, Tom uses his badge to get to the top, even though he's a fugitive from the law, but he still gets up there anyway. But this is a kids movie, so I shouldn't complain about logic, and it's completely devoid of all criticism because it's a kids movie. There's one part where Sonic has a bomb stuck to his hand, but he can't get it off. But he could have just taken his glove off, but he doesn't. Why not? Well, I know why. The original design had white hands, but it's literally just a model swap, so what's the in-universe reason for why he couldn't remove his glove? As I mentioned earlier, I don't like when movies reference memes, but Sonic flosses at the end and that was kinda hard to watch. I don't know if this is a negative, but there is some product placement in the movie. Like there's literally a computer screen with Zillow on it, and they reference Olive Garden twice in the movie. Overall, I like Sonic the Hedgehog. With this and Detective Pikachu, it looks like video game movies might be getting better. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next movie I saw was Ride Your Wave, and it was good. Ride Your Wave is about a surfer named Hinako and a firefighter named Minato, who meet and fall in love, but Minato dies in a surfing accident, which is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer. But Hinako finds out that Minato appears as an apparition in the water whenever she sings a song that both of them liked. This is a movie by Masaki Yuasa, who also directed movies such as Mind Game, Lou Over the Wall, and most recently Denied a Short Walk On Girl. This is the first movie I've seen from him, so I don't know how any of his other movies are compared to this one. So this movie only played for one night, like 3 days ago. But sadly, I couldn't go. But I was still able to watch this movie thanks to the internet. The movie was good. Just that. I don't really have that much to say about it. I guess the animation was good, but I watched it in 360p, so I couldn't see how good it is. But something I can critique is that the characters' necks are way too long, and it looks distracting.
It's a giraffe!
The movie is about moving on from the past, especially after someone dies, or as this movie called it, riding your own wave. The characters are enjoyable, but there isn't a lot to them. One of the subtitles looked weird. I don't know if that's the video file or if that's just how it is. Overall, Ride Your Wave is good, but it didn't really leave that much of an impact on me. I would suggest checking it out if you want, and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It's closer to a 6 than an 8. If you couldn't get around to seeing Ride Your Wave, good, because you should have been saving your money for Impractical Jokers the movie, and that was a perfect segue. Impractical Jokers the movie is about the Impractical Jokers being invited to a party by Paula Abdul, but she accidentally sends them 3 tickets instead of 4, and they go on the road trip and doing challenges along the way, and the loser doesn't get to go to the party. Impractical Jokers is one of my favorite shows, so naturally I was excited for this movie, and this movie gave me exactly what I expected. This movie is basically just a 90-minute long Impractical Jokers episode with a very simple plot, and I loved it. This is honestly my favorite movie of 2020 so far. I mean, I wouldn't call it the best movie of 2020 because it's got some flaws. Like, the Impractical Jokers is not something that needs to be a movie. In the beginning, the Jokers pretend to be security guards to get into a Paula Abdul concert in the early 90s. But right when they get past the ticket takers, they immediately remove their security jackets, but they're right behind the ticket taker. But he, nor does anyone else notice this. And I know that when the Jokers do their challenges on the show, they have a whole crew setting up cameras and everything, but there's none of that in this movie. I'm pretty sure I might be overthinking this. After Paula Abdul gives the Jokers 3 tickets to her party, they could have gone up to her and corrected her, but if they did that, then there'd be no story. Also, this isn't something I can just recommend to anyone. It's really only meant for one demographic, Impractical Jokers fans. This movie reminds me a little bit of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, another movie that I loved. It's another road trip movie. It's not the best thing ever. It doesn't have much of a reason to exist, but it's for the fans. However, despite its flaws, there is a lot I like about the movie. It's extremely entertaining, but what do you expect from the Impractical Jokers? There's a scene where the Jokers are doing fake interviews for a job with an Atlanta basketball team that is really funny. There's a scene involving Sal in the motel room, one that shows a little too much of Murr, and the scene with Q's parents, just to name a few. This movie isn't as filled with fan service as I thought it would be. Like in the beginning, we hear someone ask for Larry on a walkie-talkie, and the first 3 letters on Q's license plate are LRY. There's one scene where Q is video chatting with his cat on his phone, and the cat is black and named Benjamin. And when 3 of the Jokers go to Paula's party, it's at a club called Santiago. I really loved watching Murr, Sal, Q, and Joe, but the performances are really what you'd expect from a movie like this. Overall, I loved Impractical Jokers the movie. This is honestly my favorite movie of 2020 so far. I mean, it's almost March, so I'm pretty sure something will beat it. However, I'm pretty confident this will still remain my favorite comedy of the year. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So thanks for watching. If you've seen any of these movies, tell me what you thought. And I'm going to go look for apartments on Zillow, but not before I go to Olive Garden, because when you're there, you're family.